What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of ACC Women's Soccer Roundup. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and analyzing the second week of women's college soccer, focusing on the 17 ACC teams. Now, there were some exciting wins this week and some big losses, so let's get right into it, starting off with Duke.
Duke swarmed FIU at home, going up 4-0 in the first half, the last two on PKs. They had another beautiful transition goal that was ruled offside. FIU had an expected goal value of just 0.2. Duke also completed 258 forward passes to FIU's 72, over 3 times as many. Duke then scored 3 goals in each half to overwhelm Rhode Island and Durham. Mia Minestrella had a hat-trick for the Blue Devils as Duke coasted 2 easy wins this weekend.
Duke kept it very consistent this week with 2 big wins at home. Their crosstown rivals, however, didn't. Let's get into UNC.
UNC goes into Arkansas and comes out with a 2-0 win. Arkansas may be down this year, but that's still a tough place to play. The Tar Heels almost tripled the Razorbacks' expected goal value and had twice as many completed forward passes, 162 to 83. In their second game of the week, UNC absorbed a tough 3-2 loss at home on Sunday. Kennedy Bell made them pay with a brace after UNC let her get in behind the defense and didn't mark her closely enough on the second goal. A red card with 27.5 minutes remaining led to the Spartans' third goal and was the nail in the coffin.
The Tar Heels won't be happy about losing at home in a game where they had the better of the play, but too many mistakes will ruin your day against a good team like Michigan State. Their coach is going to have some good tape for them for teaching purposes, and this loss will sharpen the Heels' attention to detail. Now on to another team with a big loss, FSU.
FSU took care of business at home, limiting Florida Atlantic to an expected goal value of just 0.02 and 0 goals. That's 3 straight shutouts to start the season. Coach Penske is using these early games to see what combinations work and how players perform in game action. In 270 minutes this season, FSU has had 18 players who have had at least 100 minutes and another 4 averaging at least 20 minutes per game. Their second game of the week wasn't quite as smooth. FSU was outplayed by the University of Florida and Gainesville on Sunday. The score represented the advanced statistics as well. I'd be very interested to know the last time FSU was more than doubled on expected goal value. UF earned their win. The Gators connected in the middle of the field much better than FSU, and I'd say this result was a gift for Coach Penske. Nothing gets the attention of players more than getting your butt kicked by a rival you've recently dominated.
Talking about teams that won't be happy with their performance this week, next up is Notre Dame.
Another tough result for the Irish with a tie at Nebraska on Thursday. In addition to missing Engel, Resevich, and Roy again, Chukwu was also missing. They managed a late goal by Lily Joseph after a saved Nebraska breakaway by keeper Jackie Holman kept the Irish from going down 2-0. Notre Dame possessed the ball better with almost twice as many completed forward passes and took more shots. However, they only scored on their one big expected goal opportunity. At home, Notre Dame gets the win over Murray State. As with the last game, the Irish were missing Engel, Resevich, Roy, and Chukwu. The Irish dominated the stats, but still underperformed their expected goal value as they have in their first 3 games, but only by a goal.
It was a grind for the Irish this week with 4 of their top players out of their games. Unless some return to the lineup soon, it's going to get worse as their leading scorer, Lily Joseph, who has 3 of their 6 goals this season, is going to leave for the U20 World Cup soon. Now on to a team with some big wins this week, Syracuse.
Syracuse had a huge away win against a Big Ten opponent where they beat Northwestern 1-0. The Orange were playing more defense, but a handball with 39 seconds remaining earned them a PK that they converted for a 1-0 victory. Northwestern controlled possession with 3 times as many completed forward passes, 275 to 91, but the Orange did a good job of not giving away any high expected goal value opportunities. Also, all but 0.2 of Syracuse's whole expected goal value came on the PK. In their second game of the week, Syracuse takes down Princeton, who's a contender for the Ivy League championship every year, in convincing fashion. Advanced statistics indicate only a slight advantage towards Syracuse. They got started with a PK in the first half in the 27th minute, and they put it away in the second half with 2 goals 21 seconds apart in the 59th and 60th minute. Orange keeper Maya Nemoli was stellar in goal as well to get them the shutout.
The Orange came away with 2 solid confidence-building wins this week. This young team is showing a lot of toughness early in the season, and it's getting them results. Now, on to Stanford.
After controlling the first half and jumping out to a 2-goal lead, Georgetown managed to slow down Stanford's attack considerably in the second half by pressing the ball more in their mid-block. They were assisted in that effort when Stanford's Ella Crawl went down early in the second half and didn't return. Holding Georgetown to an expected goal value of just 0.13 is impressive though. But 3 shots on goal out of 14 is not as impressive. Still, a very good win against a quality program. We don't currently have advanced statistics out, but Stanford took care of UC Irvine at home with 6 different players scoring their 6 goals. Eller Kroll sat out this game after leaving the Georgetown game early in the second half, as I mentioned before.
It was a good week for the Cardinal with 2 shutouts at home. They haven't been challenged yet, though, by an experienced, proven team since Georgetown had significant turnover from their excellent team last year. However, they're getting their expected results. Now on to another team with some shutouts, Wake Forest.
The Demon Deacons got started at home early with Lola Wrestler flying through the middle of the field and delivering a rocket from about 25 yards out for a 1-0 lead. She'd add another pretty one-touch from the 18 in the second half for the brace. Iowa applied more pressure, but they couldn't crack Wake's defense. Coach Toulouse will not be entirely pleased, though, as his team struggled to build out from the back, and getting 2 goals out of an expected goal value of just 0.53 is not something to count on every game. But that's another win against a quality opponent, all shutouts, for Wake Forest to start the season 3-0. In their second game of the week, they had another game and another shutout. That's 4 to start the season as the Demon Deacons defend their home turf 1-0 against Old Dominion. A well-taken Sierra Scythe direct just outside the box provides their only goal. It was a dominating performance, but Wake will want to finish better going forward.
4-0 with 4 shutouts against quality opponents means Wake Forest has thrown their hat in the ring for a national title contender team to watch. Is the aggregate 3.36 expected goal by opponents with 0 goals against sustainable? We'll find out if Wake is really that much better than the expected as the season progresses. Now on to UVA.
Virginia dominated LaSalle at home, completing more than 6 times as many forward passes as the Explorers. Nothing much to see here as a vastly superior team took care of business to go 3-0 on the season.
UVA had a pretty easy week with only 1 game against LaSalle. Now on to Clemson.
Clemson drops a tough 1-0 game late, playing at rival South Carolina. They are still looking for their first goal after 3 games. The Tigers had the better of the expected goal value, driven by a great opportunity inside the 6, easily the highest expected goal value that either team had. Not long after that misfire, South Carolina scored their goal. Advanced stats were not out for this game yet, but Clemson easily dispatched Campbell at home on Sunday and will hopefully get some momentum in their offense as they beat them 5-0.
Their win at home on Sunday won't take much sting away from their loss to South Carolina, a game that could have gone either way. But the Tigers, that were leaning too hard on their defense earlier this season, saw the offense get back on track against an overmatched opponent on Sunday. It's a start. Now on to NC State.
NC State went into the half at Raleigh up 3-0, and they coasted to the win against a solid Charlotte team. Also, they scored 4 goals, none by Bordelot. That's a good sign for them as they show that they have threats beyond Bordelot. The Wolfpack did give away a couple of runs behind their defense that were saved. They'll want to clean that up moving forward. On Sunday, NC State jumped out early at home with Bordelot scoring in the 4th minute. Despite a dominant performance, that's how it stayed until the 66th minute when NC State scored a second. But a goal by Elon in the 77th minute put the result in doubt until the final whistle. Elon did a good job of not giving up large expected goal opportunities.
There are a few nits to pick, but however you dice it, NC State is 4-0. If they continue beating the teams that they should beat prior to the ACC games, they'll put themselves in a great position to qualify for the NCAA playoffs. They no doubt have a bigger goal in mind, though, qualifying for the ACC playoffs this year. Now on to Cal.
Advanced stats were not available for this game. Cal goes down to the Waves on the road in an evenly played match with only 1 goal in 3 games, which makes it very tough for them to get points. They'll need to look to improve that quickly. Sunday was much of the same story for Cal, where they lost their second game of their SoCal road trip 1-0 to the University of San Diego. They had the better opportunities with an expected goal value 4 times that of the Toreros, but were doomed by the fact that of their 18 shots, only 2 were on target.
2 1-0 losses on the road and only 1 goal scored in 4 games so far. Where will the goals come from for the Bears? They are creating opportunities, so maybe there are better results ahead. Now on to SMU.
In their first game of the week, SMU plays to a 0-0 draw at home against the Broncos in a game that was more entertaining than the score indicated. The Broncos gave SMU some problems with their speed, creating more opportunities, but none with a high expected goal value. The Mustangs had one big opportunity, though, in the waning minutes that they were unable to finish. In their second game of the week, SMU gave up the first goal at home and then proceeded to score 5 straight, 3 by the end of the first half, and 1 in the first minute of the second half to put the game out of reach.
They have to be disappointed that they didn't get all 3 points at home against Boise State. On the other hand, they didn't obviously outplay them either. Now on to Virginia Tech.
On Thursday, Tech managed to tie at home against Liberty, with the Hokies keeper Trujillo needing a couple of big saves near the end of the game to keep it tied. It was an evenly played game with Tech having a slight advantage in possession. On Sunday, the Hokies jumped out to a 2-0 lead in Blacksburg, but they couldn't hold the lead and settled for a tie against the Terrapins. This is a difficult result to swallow given the advanced statistics indicating that they easily outplayed the Terrapins.
2 ties at home was not a good weekend for the Hokies. Both were winnable games and games that a team with NCAA playoff aspirations needs to win. And that task just got a lot tougher. Now on to BC.
In their only game of the week, Boston College went to Ithaca and came home with a nice win at Cornell. Cornell scored early from outside the box, but the Eagles answered quickly with a flurry of chances, and Nico Kyorpes finally found the back of the net. A kick save by the BC keeper, Faith Fenwick, kept it tied going into the half. With 15 minutes remaining in the game, BC took the lead on a break by Kyorpes, getting her a brace. The Eagles then iced the game with a PK 4 minutes later. It's a good start for BC, and they're 3-0 on the season.
With their win on the road, BC should be happy. Now on to Pitt.
The Panthers went to Los Angeles on Thursday and beat LMU. Pitt dominated the statistics. However, out of their 24 shots, they only managed 3 on frame. That type of performance will doom them against better teams. Pitt continued their California road trip week in Santa Clara on Sunday. They jumped out to 1-0 lead in the second half, but a Broncos PK tied it at 1-1. As with the previous PK, this one accounts for about 0.8 or about half of Santa Clara's expected goal value.
A win and a tie, not the worst result for Pitt. They had a chance to get 2 wins on the road, but they didn't quite manage it. Now on to Louisville.
Advanced statistics are not out for this game. Louisville took care of Belmont at home in their only game this week in a dominant performance. Not much else to see here.
Again, not much to say about Louisville's dominant win this weekend. Now on to our final team, Miami.
The Hurricanes went to Arkansas on Thursday and came away with an easy victory over Little Rock, holding the Trojans to an expected goal value of just 0.2 and dominating every statistical category. The advanced statistics are not out for this game. With just 1 second remaining, Zoe Fontanon took a pass from Ciara Alarcon and scored the only goal of the match. The Canes had the better of the play all game, so this late winner was well earned.
Miami gets their wins in Arkansas and Tennessee to end the week 2-0. After a tough first game loss, they've put together 3 straight road wins to be 3-1 on the season. Thanks for sticking around. If you enjoy reviews like this, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram so you can get updates on all the videos that I post, just like this one. All right, see you next week.